Welcome to dcosmic.com. You're here with me, Mr. Beyonder, and the main man himself, Mr. Soweto Kinch.
Yeah, good to see you, Beyonder. Good to be here on the streets of McLean and Shoreditch.
Well, thank you, sir. You just finished doing a set here at Rich Mix. How was that?
That's right, it was live, man. We've been here a couple of weeks now. Great audiences, just an incredible vibe. We've had like 300 people turning up and rave reviews written, so I'm enjoying playing there, man. It's becoming a nice hang, but we want to be a bit scarce, so we won't be there till June next time.
Okay, for all you people who don't know who Soweto is, Soweto, tell them a little bit about yourself.
I'm a jazz musician, alto saxophonist, and MC. I rap, I play the saxophone, so come check me out.
Okay, and for all you who don't know, you really do need to check the brother out. This man here, Mercury, first album, Conversations with the Unseen. Love that title. It's very cosmic. It's very beyond there. People who know the coup know the coup.
Yeah, so that was telepathic there. I didn't even think of it. But that related to, the first title related to that thing in a jazz ensemble in a context where you feel like there's an invisible hand, you know, spiritual or whatever, that's guiding you as an ensemble and steering you. So you're having a conversation with an unseen band member. Yeah, I love my job. I actually do. Just being able to freestyle here and drop lyrics and then play a jazz ballad the next, and an audience is so amazingly accepting of it, as long as I think we bring our music with integrity and passion. I'd like to think we have both of those things.
There you go. And yeah, the first album was nominated for Mercury Album of the Year.
That's right, yeah.
Fantastic. How did that feel? How did that,
Yeah, not bad. And we picked up a couple of MOBO awards as well in 2003 and 2007. So, all these award things are great. They just rubber stamp the music that I want to make and tell an audience, well, check this out, because it's big and it's on a plinth. But by the same token, we never obviously wrote music with a view to winning awards. It was very much, let's just make the best music that we can possibly make. And in some senses, an audience is also our judging panel, our award bestowers, because their reactions kind of say a lot more than the plaudits of labels and the plaudits of journalists. You know how mercurial and capricious these people can be. So.
I'm doing my thing, yo. We look at the sunshine and we don't need bling, so this music tip is making me get expansive, and of course I take advantage of this mic. I got to grab it like the Spike Lee flick. I guess I got to have it. I guess I'm just animated like I'm Roger Rabbit.
Soweto,
Yes.
tell us, how did you get into jazz? What kind of inspired you to take up the music?
For me, the penny dropped when I was 13 years old. I'd already had the saxophone for a couple of years, and you kind of naturally gravitate towards jazz, but it didn't really work for me, I hadn't seen it live. And then we went up to the Edinburgh Festival when I was 13 with my father, who was a playwright, and in the cast were 2 jazz musicians. Boom, that was the moment, really, my epiphanal aha moment when jazz just made so much sense to me. And I went to see Wynton Marsalis later that summer at the age of 13, and it was just incredible. We actually got to meet him backstage, myself and a young drummer got to meet the great man himself, and he sat down and kind of schooled me in a constructive and encouraging way to check out the heritage of the music, to really understand the root of where it comes from, as opposed to the superficial, skeletal stuff that we're often offered,
And that's really interesting, because what I remember seeing an interview at one point, I think it was maybe a year and a half, 2 years ago, where Wynton was asked about your music. In terms of your jazz, he really loved it. He really likes where you're going and everything. And he would like to see you kind of going on that tip. But in terms of, because you bring a different dimension, you're bringing in kind of...
Incredible for me. I was even thinking about it at the time when I brought his name up, because the way the Newsnight piece was framed, it was like, here's this vanguard of the new, here's the revolutionary iconoclast kid, and here's this old conservative crusty guy who don't really get the program, and it's not like that at all. far from it. As I said, he inspired me when I was a teenager, and there's a lineage, there's a continuity. It does concern me so often when we talk about black music. It's, okay, this new kid and jettisons everything from the past. You know, we're not in touch with our lineage or with our history. So, and I think he fully gets the hip hop that I want to make. You know, for him, he's about restituting the high plinth, the art, and certainly that African American music should be considered on. So, yeah, I share his philosophy on that, and the expressions of it perhaps are different, but we're from the same tree, I'd like to think.
So what do you see for yourself as kind of like what you're going to be looking to produce or to do in, say, the next 5-10 years?
Well, you know, the litmus test, the gold standards are still James Brown, are still Bob Marley, are still J.S. Bach, are still Mozart. People who create music that is capable of being understood right across genre. And I guess, you know, I feel personally like I still want to aspire to that, to creating an album which redefines a style or has an idiom that evades all other genre classification boxes, you know. So I think it'll be an ongoing thing. I don't know if it will be one magnum opus that just sums up everything I've ever wanted to do on an album. I'd rather it was years and years of consistently high quality music. That's my goal. And to be touring and playing music when I'm white in the beard, long in the tooth, whatever you say, you know, just old.
Okay, that sounds good. We look forward to hearing some of that. Yeah, dropping it with flavor.
Be there at the show in 50 years' time, for real.
So, you mentioned like the albums. I mentioned the first album, Conversations with the Unseen. The second album, A Life in a Day of B19. Yeah, I hear is a concept album. It's like the first part of two. Yeah. So, what's the second half gonna kind of?
It's a little more political. I kind of addressed a lot of things that were happening for me in the record industry that still haven't stopped happening around. That's part of the reason the album hasn't come out. A big part of the reason the album hasn't come out. So it's funny. It's a case of art imitating life or life imitating art. I'm not sure. But when the album finally does see light, there'll be a lot of weight shed at the same point.
Challenging maybe for some of the listeners.
Sure. Well, it's funny. It's timely as well. A lot of the things I was writing about a couple of years ago with the current economic situation and a lot of people who need to be brought low, apparently being brought low, at least in the superficial, in terms of what we see. There's a lot of people eating humble pie. So, you know, these things do turn around. There are cycles and so forth. And that the album alludes to that strongly.
Okay, that sounds very interesting. Have you got a title for that? Or?
Yes, it's called Basement Fables.
Cool. Nice. So you mentioned about the inequalities in the music business. Obviously, we've got a lot of technology kind of like changing some of the things going on there. How are you using it? How can the people out there get to see Soweto Kinch or hear?
Soweto-Kinch, Soweto-Kinch, Kinch.com. Soweto-Kinch.com. I'm on MySpace, I'm on Facebook, get at me, dog. You know, but in terms of what's new and fresh and the best incubator for my new forthcoming projects, then check the website out, you know.
Cool. Okay, that sounds dope, sounds fat. Thank you, Soweto. Absolute pleasure having you on.
Thank you.
See your progress, no doubt. People check out the progress. Get to the MySpace. Get to Soweto-Kinch.com. See the man now. Book your tickets. Cosmic.com. You heard it here first. Beyonder, Soweto. Check us out. Be safe. Enjoy. 1.